Good day, everybody. I am Coffee Break, and welcome back to the CoffeeCast Procast Edition. I am going to be bringing you a game that features two freaking awesome players. In the top left here on MLG Tal'Darim Malter, we have imbaBratOK, and if you have not heard of BratOK, it is because you are not a European player. He is very, very big in Europe. I do not believe he travels to a lot of the American tournaments like MLG, NASL. Nonetheless, he is a really, really good Terran player. You cannot underestimate BratOK. And I am really excited to announce our next player. We are going to be having our blue Protoss player, WhiteRa, who is awesome. Let me tell you now, folks, he is probably my favorite player of all time. He is super, super nice. And he's just a great guy all around. And once again, WhiteRa is another one of those people who is just super, super good. He is an amazing, amazing Protoss player, probably one of the best out there. And he is very renowned for his, what everybody calls it, his special tactics. Because he made a little offhand comment about special tactics one time. And ever since then, people have just been exploding about that, calling him the special tactics player. It's all over his stream. He's a great guy. And oh, this SCV might go down. That was kind of close. Oh my goodness. And there's just something showing how awesome BratOK is, or BratOK, I don't know how to pronounce it. Pulling a couple SCVs to repair his wounded SCV. It only had 5 health left on it, and he managed to save that. Otherwise, WhiteRa's probe would have just kind of chased it down and finished it off. So very heads-up play by BratOK, whatever, I don't know. I'm just going to go back and forth between those two, because I will never be able to remember one or the other. We do have both these players going for a fairly standard opening right now. We have WhiteRa just getting his gateway, getting his gas after gateway. Standard stuff. Nothing wrong with that, though. There's nothing wrong with that. Barracks finishes, Marine comes out. And once again, BratOK, just an amazing, amazing Terran player. I believe he's in Master League. I will have stats for you guys next game. I believe he's in Master League. And actually, a pylon going down to block the command center there. That is rather rare. That's something you normally see in PvC, not PvT. So nothing wrong with that. And BratOK does go ahead and just throws down that command center there. WhiteRa does see it. Not too big of a deal though. I think WhiteRa could assume, as it was this one rat expand, there was no gas taken. And as Day9 says, when you scout, you want to look for what your opponent cannot be doing. No gas. BratOK cannot be going a stim or concussive push. There is one barracks down and nothing else is being put down at the moment. That pretty much narrows it down to about a 1 racks fast expand out of our Terran player. So WhiteRa, very good scouting on his part, notices that, throws down a nexus of his own right there, and WhiteRa will be good and ready to counter that. A lot of chrono boost going down on the probes. This is something that you can do in Protoss vs Terran. I know in Protoss vs Zerg you can do it a lot as well. But in Protoss vs Protoss, you cannot just spend your chrono boost with impunity. You have to be very careful, very precise about, whether it goes down on cybernetics core, on the gateway, or on your probes. But once again, Protoss vs Terran, you can really just throw it all down on probes and make sure you keep up with that economy of the mules. Now, one thing I would like to mention, look at this right here, what I'm selecting right there on the Nexus. That little insignia there, I don't exactly know how you get that. I think it's just a number of wins. But that just shows how awesome WhiteRa is, that he even changes his insignia on his Nexus. I think this one might be the standard Terran one. I'm not sure on that. We do have 3 racks coming out of BratOK now, as well as finally getting that command center into the proper place after turning it into an orbital command. And loading his bunker right on back up. The expansion is now down for both players, so it's going to be fairly even at this point in time. I don't think anything's actually even been lost. Okay, a couple things. Probably just a Marine or an SCV or 2. And we do have a Stalker coming up here, pushing up. Going to take a quick look inside and take a little bit of hull damage. Not too much, so that's not too big of a deal. Those shields will regenerate, and that Stalker will be prepared for his next battle. We do have stim on the way, as well as an engineering bay on the way for BratOK. So that'll allow him to get those upgrades fairly early on in the game. I would assume that he's going to be doing weapons. Yes, indeed, he throws down that weapons level 1. And a Twilight Council down over here now. So that should be, I wouldn't be surprised to see Blink, as he is getting that robotics as well, somewhere, there it is. He is getting the robotics facility as well, so Blink with that observer, allowing him to see the high ground. He could blink up into the high ground and really just do all sorts of damage before blinking out. Another thing, charge lots are extremely viable versus Terran. Very, very, very popular. I'd even venture to say one of the more popular builds. And oh, WhiteRa, you scurvy dog, where is it? There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a Dark Shrine coming down for WhiteRa. A Dark Shrine versus Terran. Very, very rare. Now, a lot of the time, what Protoss players will do is use the Dark Shrine to run out the energy of the command center, so mules cannot be used, because those command centers will have to use scan instead to detect those Dark Templar. It should be interesting to see how this turns out. Oh my goodness, this is why I love watching WhiteRa so much. It looks like we will be having a little bit of Marine-centric play. That doesn't mean that there can't be a couple Mirage mixed in, as we see here. But Marine-centric play, as we do have 2 reactors and combat shields somewhere. I saw it being researched. I know, yeah, it's being researched right now. It's somewhere around here. It looks like imbaBratOK is going to be coming around here, starting to take out the rocks right there. And Immortal is on the way for WhiteRa. I don't know if that's exactly the best choice. There are only 3 Marauders in that army right now. Oh, and he's gonna warp in some Dark Templar and then put him into the base. But oh my gosh, BratOK might see this. No, BratOK pulls back at the last moment. He's not going to see this warp prism coming into the top. He did destroy these rocks, and WhiteRa is going to see that, so he will know that a 3rd base might be taken. And there's a pylon right here to warp these in, and it looks like this warp prism is going to fly straight into the main of BratOK, and these Dark Templar are going straight for that mineral line, and they are going to get in and get a couple of kills real quickly before BratOK even notices there are 6 SCV kills, 8 SCV kills, 9 SCV kills right off the bat before anything can be done. Now this engineering bay is going to be focused right down, and another Dark Templar is warped in over here at this pylon and brought in. I do like the fact that WhiteRa is not using the power mode, and it looks like there are going to be a couple missile turrets going down. There was a second engineering base somewhere. The first scan does go down, managed to take out 1 Dark Templar, 2 Dark Templar, but there's still 2 in the base over here, taking out an engineering bay and a supply depot. Now splitting them up so that they cannot be caught in the same scan. 1 more Dark Templar does go down, so only 1 remains in the main base now, and this is going to be very close. Another Dark Templar is being warped in somewhere, and it looks like BratOK might be out of scan energy. Indeed, he is out of scan energy. However, 1 missile turret is going to go up over here fairly shortly, and WhiteRa needs to make sure not to walk into that. Another supply depot probably is going to go down right there, and an engineering bay right there being dropped. And do we have another engineering base somewhere? Or no, he is out of missile turret creating abilities. There is another Dark Templar in the base now, killing that SCV that was creating this engineering base. It's going to be annoying. 49, 50 energy. We are ready for another scan. It looks like this Dark Templar is probably going to be picked off. No, instead, yes, a beautiful scan angle. Both Dark Templar are killed at that spot. Very, very nice play by BratOK. He did lose quite a bit and lost quite a bit of mining time, but he did eventually kill those. And now WhiteRa is going to be a little bit behind, but no, Dark Templar are coming back in. My goodness, he is being absolutely relentless, and there is even another Dark Templar over there. And ladies and gentlemen, this Dark Templar play, very, very potent. WhiteRa showing that it's completely viable versus Terran, and just doing so much damage. The Dark Templar are a little bit not quite sure where it wants to go. That warp prism is finally taken down, so no more Dark Templar in the main. There are 3 more Dark Templar sitting over at that proxy pylon over here on the left side. And it looks like this missile turret does allow BratOK to get that last Dark Templar. Now these 3 Dark Templar are going to be falling out. A lot of damage done. There were 11 workers killed for WhiteRa in that engagement. And the units lost shows WhiteRa quite a bit ahead at this stage in the game. Now there is going to be 1 Dark Templar coming in here just to harass a little bit. Does manage to take out 1 Marauder before finally getting picked off by a scan and focus fire. I suppose it's kind of hard to focus fire when there's only 1 unit there. I mean, it's just kind of a given. 1 more Dark Templar sitting in the middle of this group just being pesky, and another scan has to go down, and pretty soon there's going to be no scan energy left. There's a little bit of energy left on this command center, but it looks like the simulator is going to be picked off with that 1 scan right there, but there is no scan energy left to take out this Dark Templar, so all WhiteRa needs to do is just keep a Dark Templar or 2 in his main army, and there will be nothing that BratOK can do about it. 1 more Marauder does fall to a Dark Templar, and now there is going to be a bit of an engagement. I don't know if WhiteRa's ready for this, though. There is a lot of Marine Marauder in that army with Stim there tearing apart all these units, but it looks like BratOK's army is getting torn apart as well. It's going to be kind of a close engagement, and it looks like with this Dark Templar, WhiteRa may be able to pull out. No! The scan doesn't go down. The last Immortal does fall. The Dark Templar dies, and this army does still remain for BratOK. Now it looks like there is going to be a warp prism in the main base. Once again, a lot of zealots being warped in, so it does not need detection for this. However, it's going to force BratOK to make decisions. Does he want to go forward and try to take out WhiteRa's main, or does he want to fall back? And oh my goodness, 3 Dark Templar now being warped into the main base of BratOK. In the meantime, BratOK's army is going to be running up the main ramp here. All it is going to take is going to be 1 Dark Templar, though, to halt this army. It looks like that is going to be the 1 Dark Templar we need right there. Meanwhile, on the main base, the command center is going to fall. Oh my goodness, is it going to burn down? There's nothing there to repair it. It does fall. There are a small group of units right there ready to defend that. In the meantime, though, WhiteRa's expansion is going to be completely taken out by this Marine Marauder ball, but there's nothing there to detect this 1 Dark Templar that are just mauling all these ground forces over here in the natural of BratOK, though all the SCVs are falling as well. There is going to be mass repair on that missile turret if that is attempted to be taken out, and more Dark Templar and Zealots more warped in to clean up this drop. Over here in the main of BratOK, though, a lot of units still working on this base. A lot of the SCVs have fallen. There is almost nothing left for BratOK to mine with, and it looks like the attack has ceased over in WhiteRa's main, so it's all about what BratOK can do over in his main base right now. Now, there are Dark Templars still in this army. I do not know if there's enough to scan. There is enough for 1 scan. However, I don't know if he wants to use it quite yet, if he can afford it. There is a missile turret right there, though, so there is the detection that he needs. And it looks like there are going to be more charge lines being morphed in the back from that warp prism. In the meantime, there's going to be a small attack from the front, and there's the GG from BratOK in this game. What beautiful play by WhiteRa in game number 1 between BratOK and WhiteRa in this best-of-3 series. Dark Templar and Warp Prism play prevailing in this matchup. What I can't even say enough about WhiteRa's play on that. I have seen him do that once or twice before. And let's just look at this. 43 workers killed for WhiteRa as opposed to the 21 of BratOK. This is not Zerg versus Zerg where you can lose 100 drones and still be alright. That is a lot of workers killed. My goodness. WhiteRa really showing why he is considered one of the best Protoss in the world right now. And I hope that we will be seeing just as interesting games coming out of these 2 players in the next 2 games. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Coffee Break. Thank you for joining me here on the CoffeeCast. And if you have not already, subscribe to this, subscribe to me, comment on this video, let me know what you think. I really do take your comments into consideration. I will be back with game number 2 in just a couple minutes. Don't go away, folks. This is Coffee Break signing out.